Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May Virgin Planning Commission work meeting. In attendance, we have Mr. Kent Peterson, myself, Darlene Pope, and Lee Ballard. Okay, I'm sorry, Kent, we don't do the pledge right now.
Pardon?
We don't do the pledge at a work meeting.
Good.
Although I am very glad to see the Utah state flag being displayed. Pretty cool. Okay, so we have many things to go over today. I have a lot of questions. I don't know about anyone else. And we will start with the unlisted and prohibited uses. So if you could pull that one out. And the first thing I want to check, prohibited and unlisted uses. Okay. Because we have two with prohibited and unlisted uses in it. So I just want to see to address unlisted and prohibited. Mark, many moons ago, if you look at the report I give the council and you, we sent the unlisted uses and the council has not brought it up. Would one way to deal with that be to add it to the language from that one to this one, since this is already titled? Both two together? Okay.
With the mayor, and I believe that's her preference.
So we are going to have to touch base with Riker on this because we have to decide, is this going to be a standalone chapter section,
Yep.
or are we embedding it? And so
Right.
that's on my list of things to talk to him about. With that in mind, I would encourage the council, and then the commissioners can speak up with whatever they want, to go ahead and do the unlisted uses so that we have that in place. Because as Riker mentioned, that is something. It's not the perfect, but it's something. And then this one will be following shortly thereafter. If we were able to decide which way we wanted to go on this, and we were certain Riker could get all this done by Tuesday, then I would say no problem.
Right.
But that's my concern and that's my preference.
Sure.
Commissioners, do either of you have anything else to say to that? Well, first of all, about that approach.
Yeah, I would imagine that we can decide tonight, although there's only one thing that prevents me from being sure, and that's a legal review. I mean, if there's some idea that that listing them in their own chapter is, doesn't get the right impression. Somebody mentioned it kind of looks like you're not going through every chapter and deciding which you belong there, but these things.
Well, yeah, and that the only place that really would apply is commercial and highway resort, because none of these would be appropriate in residential.
Right, but I mean, who knows?
I know. That's what I'm learning, because I don't care how many seminars I go to, it's always be as specific as possible. Because if it's unclear in the ordinance, usually decisions do not go in our favor, because it's our charge to be clear, I guess. So I get that. We did have a letter relating to some of these uses. And I want to make sure we address that.
I think there was significant discussion last night with
Rating.
our legal counsel on the issue that was talked about the most and becoming very, very specific. So agree with you, Val, that and I'm coming in late on this prohibited issue. And I'm not sure what instigated it, if it was just a review of past ordinances or if there was some issues that brought it forward.
Last year, we started this discussion with you on the board. And then we were supposed to at first we were going to go zone by zone and create a list. And I believe this list is from the commercial, came out of the commercial, or is it totally different?
I don't remember it in a lot of different places.
Okay,
But and none of them, I'm not married to the list.
yeah.
It's pretty separate.
Yeah, so what we were hoping is we'd have comments. Here it is. This one. So I'm glad you said that you researched, because that was a question, because they just seem like it's some list that is arbitrary. One of the concerns was this is a list that seems arbitrary. So, but you said you researched it by looking at different cities' codes? Yeah.
I had a master list.
Mhm. That we started with way back last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of these are put in like extraction or quarry operations, and then
Those were specifically
From-
recommended by Heath.
yes. And what about, I thought there was one, there might be some here that we want, some that we don't want.
Right.
Do I have that list?
You do. It's the packet, it should be proposed, this one, looks like this. Just look at the cover letter. It should.
Sorry.
All right, I know how papers get all mixed up. But there was that, and we got that letter, should be in your materials from last week.
Oh.
From, it was from Mr. Matzler, and,
I have a question, Val,
mhm,
on number 14, miniature golf.
mhm.
If somebody like White Bison wants to put something down in their neighborhood, does this mean it's prohibited?
That's what it would mean, and I agree. I think that it should be conditional in highway resort zone.
So you would say they would be prohibited.
Then it would be conditional or permitted. I don't know. I think probably conditional because it might require a lot of space and grading and
Yeah, it would
things like
also
that.
require them to amend their CUP. And a question, the only concern I have actually, right, if it was in like the White Bison complex, is lighting. Would they have to follow our dark sky lighting ordinances? Do you know the answer to that?
I think they're
I
probably.
would think they would, because it would require an amendment to their CUP, which is coming after the night sky friendly ordinances.
So that is a point of that's like a legal point of clarification that I would want to know.
Yep.
Because they produce a lot of light.
They do. They have their pickleball and basketball area where their guests come and do things, swimming pool. and there is some lighting issues there. I wasn't sure if they were grandfathered or not. But I don't see the difference between a pickleball court
Mhm.
and a miniature golf range.
Right, just that it's not on their permit.
And so it's a matter of,
Yeah,
do we prohibit that to everybody going forward, that there cannot be, and I'm not a big fan of miniature golf, but I think they're kind of things of the past to some extent. But do we prohibit that type of entertainment in a private, not a private, but in a commercial motel, hotel place that has pickleball courts and swimming pool and tennis court or whatever?
yeah. We could make as part of the,
I'm not promoting miniature golf.
Oh, no,
I'm just
I-
saying,
I love
how do we
miniature
pick
golf.
this? How do we pick this list?
well, this is just
This
the
is
starting.
for discussion. That's why
What we're
it's
talking
there.
about.
Okay.
It's like, there are many things on that, not, I don't know about many, but there are quite a few things on there that I don't want to prohibit. And it would kind of hurt my heart if we did that, but there, it's all there for discussion.
So
that-
I would not have a problem if dark sky compliant lighting on anything moving forward, that of course would be a requirement.
Yeah.
But if we could make it as part of the conditions.
Well, yeah, whoever amended the permit would certainly have to
And
make that clear to the
So,
applicant.
to educate me, if somebody wants to come in and put in a golf course
That's,
resort,
that's the worry, is it's similar.
so let's say that, uh, how do I put this? I'm trying to think of things that, and reasons why we say some things and not other things. So, let's say that I'm not a golf course fan, which is not true, okay? So I'm a golf course fan. However, maybe we don't have the size of boundaries to allow for a golf course, an 18-hole golf course to come in
For the water,
and, well, there are golf courses in Arizona that don't use water, basically.
that's true.
So, but water is a huge issue, and at the certainly present time, and probably in the future. So, I'm thinking of probably things that I individually have, gone through my life, seeing and accepting, like, I call them duplexes, you call them,
Two-family
family.
dwellings.
yeah. And I wonder if we have visions of trying to develop a town as to how we want it to look, or if we have visions of developing a town and being open to what other people's ideas, developers or individual landowners may have as what they envision they'd like to do.
I think that we need to have reasons for putting anything on this list. And we also need to consider if it might work in one zone or two zones or something. But
And we have to consider the general plan.
yeah,
That's what we guide towards.
What was that?
We have to consider the general plan. That's what we guide towards.
Certainly, I agree. Does the general plan have a list of,
It's not that specific, but for example, anything that would not support like a rural atmosphere would not agree with our general plan, because I don't care which general plan you look at, that's a desire and is mentioned. So,
could we, I was sort of imagining we would go through the list one by one and either cross it off or say only in whatever zone. And if we don't cross it off, that we would note at least one reason why we don't think it's appropriate here.
Okay. I would not put any of these in residential zone.
Okay, I agree.
So do you want to go one by one and talk about this?
Yes. So amusement parks,
I see both sides of the coin. I don't want Disneyland or Yogi Bear Park, okay? A big
I'm
water,
kind of a
big
no on
water
that
park
one.
or something like that. However, does that exclude a motel or campground from having a little water park where kids can play and sprinklers and stuff like that? Or,
that's not an amusement park. That's a water pad.
okay, so in St. George, there's a park, I can't remember the name of it. It's over on,
It's in Tonnequin,
pardon?
All Abilities
All
Park.
Abilities Park.
Mhm.
Does that mean that there's a little bit of amusement there for people of
there's-
certain abilities? And does that eliminate an All Abilities Park? Or where is that included? Maybe,
Do you
So
think
you're
that's
saying we need a
appropriate?
definition of
here?
amusement park in order to.
yeah,
approve it?
yeah,
Yeah.
more kind of what Darlene said about specific. And I'm thinking like destination, the music park, Disneyland, Yogi Bear.
Those things change the entire character of the surrounding area. I think that's something that we can say we want to be careful of under our general plan.
Permanent facility or tract of land offering mechanical rides, games, and attractions to the general public.
Okay,
That is not something I think most of the town would favor, in my opinion.
I would agree.
So I think it does belong here.
What about tubing businesses in the,
Not an amusement park.
no, but I was moving on.
Oh,
Commercial businesses that include stargazing, tubing.
we have a category outdoor
yeah, guiding.
guiding
guiding.
and
Okay.
all that kind of stuff
right.
is
Those are allowed.
allowed.
That,
Arcades,
that fits the character of the area.
Geodomes for stargazing and nothing, not speaking of anybody specific, but short-term rental geodome designs. Do we have specific prohibited architectural concepts in town? Or is that just limited to our heights and materials?
Something like that. Well, we don't allow short-term rentals, and the one we have is already grandfathered in, and that's all set. It's been approved.
it was grandfathered in. Short-term rentals are still allowed in HRZ in Highway Resort. Well, bed and breakfast, same difference.
But not short-term rentals. There is a difference.
Well, one has breakfast and the other may or may not, I guess, but all I'm saying is if somebody wants to do a short-term rental, they just have to call it a bed and breakfast and they're in. So, but that's fine. I don't think that anybody necessarily wanted to prohibit them in Highway Resort.
No. They just were never included in this, as one of the areas in which they were allowed.
Right. So
Oh.
it didn't have to be subtracted.
Arcades,
I don't,
Seems
I
like
don't-
part of amusement parks.
yeah.
except it's indoor, right?
If it's,
Oh,
if it's
pinball
Or-
machines.
like
Right.
the little general store in White Bison or in Zion River Resort, if they've got one in there,
A pinball machine?
yeah, or something like that, but not
Yeah,
that's the sole business.
it doesn't make it an arcade, but I, I don't know if it's indoor, if we said indoor arcades, then we should, I mean, we should say,
So one thing we need to do is for each of these things, there needs to be a definition
yes,
so that we could say, this is what it is, you
right.
know? And they can't say, well, it's kind of this or
Yeah.
kind of that.
And that shouldn't be too hard to do. But I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think arcade should be on here unless it means something different than what I'm imagining. I mean, sometimes, like, there's a bowling alley and half the building inside is an arcade. Now,
Could be a
I mean,
huge
unless the
one in
building
Hurricane.
is too big, I don't know why we would object to it. I don't know.
Why is it here?
Hmm?
Then why is it here?
It's just, these are from other towns, and so that's what I'm saying. I didn't put them there because I wanted them prohibited. I put them there because I was making a list of what other towns prohibit. So,
So if we don't prohibit arcades, what we could do is just limit the number. I don't know if you can do that.
building size, I mean, or say, the outdoor arcades, if there's such a thing, we might. But then it'll be just like a miniature golf course, which,
Most municipality define an arcade based on the number of machines available to the public. The threshold typically ranges between 3 to 15. Some jurisdictions require 5 or more, while others 10 or more. So yes, we can designate the number if it is allowed, the number of
And-
machines.
why? I mean, I'm just wondering, because I guess that would relate to the traffic. So I can't think of any other reason.
I doubt we get an arcade in here.
What?
I doubt we get an arcade in here.
Yeah, I doubt anybody wants to do that, but,
Because they wouldn't get the business, you know.
right. And
Then maybe we have to look at the size and nature of our community at this point, that we're not a Harkine or a St. George. We are a rural, small 1,000 citizen
mhm.
We're not even 1,000.
Yeah. Community that's not there yet. So how do we put that into this? Is this saying this is what we don't want in the future? Because nobody's going to put a dry cleaners in here, and I don't think unless it's in their home, or even a bowling alley.
This, I mean, we are thinking about the future in this, but I still kind of hope that we end up with a much shorter list. But I mean, imagine if, let's say, George's restaurant, just maybe, imagine he decided he has too many tables. It's too much work. He's going to cut the interior in half and make the other half an arcade. I know that's pretty unlikely, but if he did, how would that affect the surrounding town? I don't see how, but like I said, unless it's outside.
Yeah, this is really tough because let's take Fort Zion
Mm-hmm.
and now is that something that I love to go hang out in and stuff like that? No, but I have gone in there and got some ice cream once in a while or looked around at their merchandise and they definitely are a landmark visually. So, do we exclude things like that when we already have something?
Oh, if we have bad experience with something, of course, that's why we don't have short-term rentals anymore. So we can certainly.
Well, As we look at the second, another ordinance, unlisted and new uses, there's a process that will be developed. And we have that first roundabout of that ordinance in our packet as well. Wouldn't that be the vehicle if we didn't put them on a prohibited use, but didn't put them as a permitted use? That would allow us to limit and have some, not limit, but have some say in what it looked like.
Right. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I think there is an alternative here. Instead of worrying about what should be prohibited, we've got a fairly recent ordinance that says if it's not listed, it's prohibited, number one. And then with the new state required ordinance to have a process to request, say, a similar use, or to add a use, that could be a second step. So I think it gives the planning commission and ultimately the council the ability to take what may appear on this prohibited list on a case-by-case basis if somebody comes forward and he's, wants to create the use. So if it's not listed, it's prohibited. So if none of these are currently listed, they're prohibited. But if you've got someone who suggests that, hey, my, amusement business or whatever the business may be is similar to a tubing business that already exists, then there would be a mechanism for them to apply. If they were denied that it was similar, then they can request consideration to create it. So, I think between those two ordinances, I think you could avoid having to come up with a specific list of prohibited uses.
I have heard arguments for similar uses in Virgin before that were pretty outlandish, but succeeded in going forward. And I always thought it was safe to rely on unlisted uses are prohibited, but Heath doesn't seem to feel that.
It doesn't feel like
And-
it would be
yeah.
upheld if it were challenged.
Depending on what the situation
Legally,
was, of course,
yeah.
but so what I think we need to do is pick out the things that we really think are inappropriate here.
I
Scratch everything else.
believe items 1 through 6 could be handled with the process we just described.
And I'll disagree about dry cleaners because they ruin entire properties and buildings and all sorts of things with chemicals that they use. And
Okay.
there've been a lot of problems. throughout the
I
country.
think that 1
with
through
them.
5. Some of these were written down expressly from our town attorney, like quarry operations. The one I don't see here that I believe he mentioned, and I know residents have mentioned, are feedlots. That's not on here.
That's not on here, but
No.
we could add it. Do we think we should add it?
Did you say feedlot?
Feedlot.
But we need to define it too, because if you have
We're going to
three
have to define a
cows
lot of
and you
things.
feed them,
Well, for the purpose of,
commercial.
yeah, if it's your personal use. And yes, we would need a definition. We'd need a definition for dry cleaners.
We already have a feedlot or at least one
We
feedlot
have one
We do,
feedlot,
in
yes.
town.
That would be fine.
The grandfathered in, so
They
there
would still exist.
just
Okay.
won't be more if we add that to the list.
And you guys can push back on
If
that.
I understand
my
what Mark
opinion.
is saying, that what isn't listed is prohibited until someone requests a variance.
And he said, you need both.
Yeah.
If there's something you really don't want, you better
Okay.
list it as prohibited.
Okay,
So
I
since
can understand
there-
that.
we have gray area on some of these where maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't work, then that new process
Will
might be
protect
the
us.
solution to that.
Yes.
But some of these extraction or quarry operations, I think would be a good thing to have. Industrial uses in particular, because we don't have an industrial zone.
And there's not a lot of desire for one in the last 6 surveys that I've.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, if you look at those other things, I know the town, there actually was talk of some kind of heliport and that was not well received. And I think that was over a decade ago. Could be a couple decades
Yeah.
ago. A heliport.
Right,
Yeah.
it was over a what ago?
I thought it was a long time ago, like a
Oh.
decade or more.
It's happened a couple times.
Um,
And, you know, that
So
is-
miniature golf would then go up with that 1 through 5, in my opinion.
yeah, I don't think it belongs there, but I do think it should be limited because maybe we don't want golf courses. What do we think?
Well, I
Um,
think we're so limited in space. However, okay, I know there have been golf courses proposed in the corridor
Yes, Big
that
fight.
didn't never really come to fruition. One was proposed in Springdale once. I don't know about here.
White bison.
Yeah, yes, it's been
Did-
discussed here.
Did
too.
White Bison think about it?
I don't think there was quite the reaction here that there was in
You could
Springdale.
take a property like Sierra Bella. Hasn't quite been able to take off as a residential development yet to this point. And maybe landowner decides to take an offer from somebody that wants to put a golf course in. Water becomes an issue. I understand that. It would have to definitely, if it ever occurred, it would have to be shares of water that they purchase from somebody. And I don't know that anybody's selling water shares, but
Yeah, they are.
I don't think we're big enough to have a golf course.
I don't think they care how big we are. People come from
Okay, my
long
question
distance
is,
to go to a.
is there a desire on the part of the residents and is it reflected in the general plan to have a desire for a golf course? And to me, that answer is no. I don't recall anything coming up on any data that I got.
But just because it hasn't been mentioned, it doesn't mean that some people wouldn't want it. But I'm not saying that it's a
And they
good
could go
idea.
through that process unless we want to
Yeah.
prohibit it.
Yeah.
I tend
That's the
to want to
question.
prohibit full-fledged golf courses.
I do too, but mainly.
What was that
because of-
again? Golf courses?
I do not think it is fitting of the character.
At this point,
at
I
any
disagree
point.
about character, okay? Because I think golf courses can be have lots of character for the whole community. And so that's personal, of course.
Uh-huh.
And cities own golf courses that are very beneficial, but I don't think we're there. I don't think we're big enough. I don't think we have enough land. And at this point, it needs to be something that should be not listed and, or if you want to list it, fine, but it needs to go before the town to ever be considered. So not listed is prohibited. Right? Or are we making a list that no matter
Place to
what
start.
is permitted? I don't think our list is no matter what is permitted, it's
The only thing we're deciding is
What doesn't belong anywhere in town.
what doesn't belong anywhere in town.
well, and I can give you my list, jails and prisons.
Well,
Um,
let's go back to golf course. If we're looking at, if you were paying attention to what the mayor said yesterday about the groundwater quality report,
mhm.
267 gallons a day per acre. I think a golf course is not a good use of our water.
A golf course that can be considered here would have to own water shares from somewhere, not the city.
Not only that, they actually do have um, uh, the technology to create a golf course that uses very little water.
Yeah.
Then why is the
but
proposed
very
Black
expensive.
Desert one out on the Paiute Reservation seriously impacting our water reserves per Washington County?
I did
Water
not know
District?
that.
Yes, it's going to be using up all, because they have water shares and we used to purchase them. I mean, not we, but the water district used to purchase them and they won't be able to do that if that goes through.
Right, because they're using it. I don't think water shares at this point helps because the shortage of water is, statewide. And so if we take water from one place, it just brings us all a little closer to the end. And so I'm not sure that I think, and I'm not convinced necessarily that they can make a low enough usage golf course, but I mean, I'm willing to read about it. But I don't know.
A standard 18
I-
hole
I'm
golf.
fine with voting for
Well-
golf courses. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
They use 312,000 gallons of water per day for irrigation, which totals roughly 90 to 110 million gallons annually. However, this varies drastically depending on the climate.
Yeah.
And the design of the golf, and that's from the USGA.
Okay, so we're scratching the first five, correct?
By the way, I'm against the golf courses over at the Shipwoods Reservation. However, they own water rights.
They do.
They lease them to the county and
Correct.
to the cities around them,
Correct.
but they own them.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
their option.
I think they
not
have a
develop.
conflict among themselves going on right
They
now.
do.
And
Yeah.
so that's
And
gonna.
I'm not saying they don't own them. I'm just saying that's going to impact whatever their decision
Yeah.
is, and that's their
Whole
decision.
county.
Yeah, it's going to affect everyone.
And all the way down.
And they have the right to do that because it's theirs.
Of course.
Yeah.
But we are leaving 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we so far?
Yes,
10,
Yes,
yes,
11,
yes,
yes,
12,
yes.
yes.
13. We might need to
Well, we
talk
have
about
an
this.
existing one already, of course.
Well, what's a maintenance yard?
There's one across the street from my house. I guess it's not a maintenance.
What?
It's actually functioning outside of our code because that's an industrial use. And that's why I would put it there is because we don't have an industrial area.
Right.
So it's like a mechanic shop or something?
No, it's where is it Desert Pearl, right? They're the hotel in Springdale.
Springdale.
It's a lovely hotel.
Which one?
Desert Pearl.
Yes.
So they have in these big container / buildings on the Palmer land, because those are the people who own that, where they do their maintenance and repair of whatever they need.
For the hotel?
Yeah. All,
So they have a shop?
they have
So
several.
they essentially have what should be an accessory to the hotel in our town instead of theirs. So
So,
I think what we mean by this is standalone maintenance,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
or which are not accessory. to
certainly a
another use.
business
yeah.
should be
you're right.
allowed to have a
Because like,
maintenance shop.
well,
Of
like
course.
our hotel, I know for a fact they have a maintenance building on their property.
Yeah, most hotels do.
You know, and and the RV parks, they all have a maintenance thing there. And I'm
Sure.
sure White Bison does too. And that's different.
So we're eliminating 13. That's not on the list.
No,
Well,
we're
we could leave
modifying
it
it.
and say
Okay.
maintenance yards and structures which are not accessory to a use on the same
Okay.
property. Does that work?
Okay.
that works for me. And then 14 would go
Away?
away because it would be part of the 1 through 5, right?
It's similar enough, I guess.
Uh,
Leave 15? I think.
yes. What about 16? Is
16
there
we
any?
need to leave there for now because
Well, in 16, we have the BMX park already. But,
Not, those are,
which is
they're not
kind of,
motorized.
kind of off-road, pardon.
They're not
oh,
motorized.
you're looking at 17. Okay.
No, it's 16 he's looking at.
He was
Oh,
talking about off-road vehicles.
yeah.
Well, I would say leave 16 on.
Yeah, I think we need to until we write something that the town.
I would
likes.
say leave it on and say you can't come inside the city limits with an off-road vehicle. But that's
You're
just
not going to get that.
yeah.
We have a lot of people who love their off-road
Pawn
vehicles.
shops, I don't know why that's there, but like,
Wouldn't that be in the same batch as 1 through 5?
I don't see it
I
being
don't see that as a
viable.
batch necessarily, but wait a
Shooting
minute.
ranges, I would say, no, I don't think we're big enough, but we do have one.
Now which one are we talking about?
Number 18,
18. Oh, pawn shops.
we're back on
Your-
17.
Your list is not matching ours.
Really?
Yes, you're one off.
I have 17 pawn shops. Pawn shop 17.
Do you have multifamily dwellings there? I thought they were there. It's not on ours.
Oh.
What number is it? That's
I
'cause-
remember that Riker, I think, suggested removing that, but I don't think we should. I mean, it's quite clear that we're,
I think that one should be there. I
I
wondered
mean,
why you
it-
were always one off and I go, I don't think
that's
that's right.
the problem. Okay, I was so confused.
So do we have a pawn shop?
Nope.
Not that I know
Oh,
of.
okay. And are we going to leave that there?
I don't know. I don't have problem with them, but
I think the process that we're setting in place
yeah.
would provide for that just the same as the 1 through 5.
So let that,
Remove that one.
remove that one. Shooting ranges, there's not a commercial shooting range. There is a shooting range behind the Cornelius's.
There's
But,
also one out Sheep Bridge.
um,
but
Legal?
It's not, no. No.
Well, because
Sheep
I
Ridge in
thought you
city
cannot
limits?
discharge firearms within town limits.
I don't think we have that rule
I
anymore.
don't think they're necessarily shooting ranges, but they're just where people go shoot.
You're right, exactly.
Mark?
I believe, yeah, I believe we do have a prohibition against
Yeah.
discharge of firearms within town limits. And I'm thinking there is one on the turn,
The twist, yeah.
the
The
twist,
twist, yeah.
Yes, in
Never
Laverne.
Call it the twist.
turn or twist, which is
Twist.
cooler. I gotta make sure I use the right one.
Yeah.
And,
The
and you,
twist?
you have to say the town below it in the right way.
Oh, well, I'll talk to you later about that then. I don't want to offend any of our neighbors.
So that should remain.
Yes, I think so. I mean, in town limits, absolutely.
Skating rinks to me is like golf courses.
Doesn't use as much water as a golf course.
No, it uses a different kind of energy. But I don't know, maybe it belongs in the group of 1 through 5. What do you guys think?
Skating rink to me is like.
Or is it a roller skating rink?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, it
Yeah.
could be
I'm
ice
sure
skating.
Ice skating rink would probably take a lot of water.
So, well, skating rinks is both.
Correct. I mean, we limit building size. So I think the only thing that makes bowling alleys and skating rinks a problem is the big blocky windowless buildings. And hopefully we're gonna have design standards in the near future.
And then should we remove it then?
I think we should remove it because it
Okay.
might be okay in a highway resort, right?
Mm-hmm. And then storage facilities,
That's a problem.
warehouses. I think water parks should stay on
Yes.
and wrecking yards. And then
Yes.
we need to add back multifamily dwellings
And feedlots.
and feedlots. Were there any other highlighted blue things there that we need to know about?
So are we leaving wrecking yards?
No, I mean, yes.
Yes. Yes. So that I have 1 through 5,
Are gone.
14, 17, and 19 are removed.
Yes. that's what
I have that multifamily dwellings, golf courses, feedlots are added. And that this would not affect any existing.
What about multifamily?
Multifamily dwellings.
That has
We're
to be
going to add that.
listed as prohibited until,
Where are you?
It's not there. So
Oh,
we have.
well,
to
it's only
add
on
it.
my
You
list. It's
didn't
not on
list
yours.
it?
It was listed and then somehow it got removed.
It got removed somehow.
Multifamily, we're talking about apartment buildings?
Anything of more, other than. a
Two
single
family, 3 family, 4 family.
Till we have standards that have been accepted by the town, then we can modify it.
Right, so let me understand. I feel pretty strong about this. We're not allowing multifamily residences
Right.
Correct.
Yet.
of
Yes.
any kind. Do we allow a site, what do you call it?
A casita? Yeah.
No, well, casitas are allowed, but
No.
what about a duplex?
2 family, duplex, whatever. The town,
Not
the
until we-
town council has rejected all attempts at regulations for those. So at the moment, they're prohibited. But there's pressure and conversation, so it needs to be
There has
listed
been
that
some-
way.
And there has been in some in the past built.
Yes, true.
Illegally.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect stuff that's already there.
Not sure about the one on my street.
Yes.
It was illegal?
The new one?
No, this is radio.
Oh, the old one? That was before
Yeah,
they enforced anything, but the new one.
one down lower.
Yeah,
You mean the one on Pocketville Road?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a 4-plex.
So until we have standards, because we're also going to have this other new process, we need to, this is an example of where we need to be specific. And then when we get standards, we can modify that
Yes.
and maybe allow for duplexes. Maybe even 3 or 4, you know? But that's not now.
Okay.
You know,
I'm
And-
not, I'm probably highly in favor of working towards low-income housing in the form of rentals and things like that. But at this point, I'm fine. But I think that I don't want to exclude us as a community of only landowners and homeowners.
I completely agree.
and I think that's where we're all coming from it, is like, until we get those standards in that are acceptable, this will keep people from making plans and thinking they can do it. It'll be clear. And then when they can, that will be clear.
Yes.
So I have that you're adding 3 things. Is that correct? You're adding one
Yes,
back and then.
I'm
2
adding
new
2
things?
things. You're adding 3 things.
Oh, yeah. But we agree on what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so then the other thing is, what would do you have any advice to give us about which approach is better? To put it in each zone? Or to have it separate as part of?
And you're referring to the definitions?
No,
No, no, no,
No?
no, the
Okay.
the
definitions.
list.
The list, okay, gotcha.
Because that was our other thing, and Rikers. We need to, he wants us to.
He just wants to run it by Heath before we put it. in
Well,
its own
he
chapter.
wants terms like storage facilities and maintenance yards, and I think we clarified that.
We do have to define a lot of stuff, but.
Yeah, but by saying.
Oh,
not-
yeah, that one we did. fix.
Right?
Yep. We might oughta.
And then Commissioner, whether any refinements to the list are warranted. So we did that. So Lee, correct me if I'm wrong, you prefer to have this in 1630.
Yes,
What did that used to be?
it used to be the chart.
The chart. So this would just be prohibited uses in all zones.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Mr. Town Manager, on which way to approach? And this is one of the things I will talk with Riker about next week.
Yeah, we can, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. I think we get the town attorney's opinion on what's preferred.
Okay,
He talked about this issue a bit last night related to the grading ordinance and kind of went back and forth. What's best? Does it belong under a definition section or does it belong within grading? And I think he sided within grading. In this case, though, it might be the other way. So
yeah. So one,
we'll
we-
clarify that.
to create definitions, right? Just of the items we include, right?
Yeah. and
Correct.
Some of them
And
may
two,
speak for themselves, but some-
uptight the usage chart, and then 3, send it to the attorney.
Yeah.
For review.
Yep.
yeah.
For review and to get input on where,
Or to have them approve or suggest something. I mean, rather than having to rewrite it.
well, I'm going to send it to for review and to get input on where the list
To put it.
could go in the code. I think since they're going to apply to all and the title of that chart, why would it be prohibited in unlisted uses? Should we strike unlisted uses from the title of this ordinance?
That's because that ordinance originally had a section.
For prohibited uses?
No, it had originally had a section which described the procedure for very brief, much more briefly than the ordinance we have in front of us tonight, of what you do when you have a use you want to do, but it's not listed
So a third option would be to put it,
in that chapter.
In
And
that-
Riker didn't like that idea.
didn't like that idea. Okay, okay. All right, because I want to make sure I get those directions to our attorney properly on this one.
Let me say too, that if we do it this way, that we should include a reference to this section in every zone where the prohibited listed
Refer-
uses are
yeah.
listed.
Which one are we working on?
This same one,
Under the section on prohibited uses in each zone, right?
I couldn't hear that.
It would be just as easy to list them in each zone under prohibited uses as well.
We could, it just makes it longer, but this administration doesn't seem to hate that as much as the old one did.
Well, it's longer, but it's the same thing, just in all the
Right,
chapters.
just repetitive.
Yeah. So that might be the best way to do it. We'll get feedback on that. So that one, any other comments on this one? I don't think we're going to get through everything.
I know.
Let's look at, I don't know what's next on the list, but the one I had the least questions about was the Joint Utility Committee thing. I do have some questions though. So that one looks like this. Got it? And one of the things I told Riker that I need to know, from my understanding, is how is this the same? How is this different than the DRC and why? And some of that was answered in his report,
Yeah.
but not all the way.
Hmm.
I did make a note on the whereas page to add the whereases referencing planning commission
Yes.
in the whereases. So I have that and I'll forward that to him.
Where, I mean, we asked about that at our meeting, right? With Riker,
We did, but I'm reiterating it because sometimes we,
because he didn't put them in.
well, that's because he hasn't updated this since our last meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. There are other changes that were in the other ordinance too that
Yeah.
I didn't know why he didn't.
And then,
Okay.
does anybody have any other questions about whereases?
Depends on the ordinance.
And
Which one are we looking at right now?
Joint Utility Commission. I'm on line, the page that starts at line 34 to go to 66. Any questions on that one?
Only.
I did not.
Report and not the ordinance, but I read it and I didn't have any questions about it. I'm fine with it.
So on the next page, starting at line 82, D status. Says it shall not make formal recommendations to the Planning and Zoning Commission, Town Council, or any other public body. It's not a public body. And my question was, so you are separating utility compliance with land use compliance?
Minor one.
That starts at 82. Is that correct?
Yeah, the JUC would make recommendations to staff and then those recommendations would be part of staff's recommendation to the planning commission. Basically, the utilities are just confirming that the property is served sufficiently by each specific utility. And that they have no, concerns about ingress, egress, easements, those types of things.
And with the easements that we talked about with Lauren Campbell's, we talked about making that administrative.
Yes.
This is where that would also occur? It's not a
Well, that
utility,
would
it'd
be part of staff's review, but
Okay.
it would be part of this process
uh,
as well.
And then under method of coordination, line 94 says a formal meeting is not required. So that would be like a Zoom, right?
It could be virtual, it could be in person, but it wouldn't require, it's not a public body, so it would not require, public notification. It's a staff meeting.
So in the olden days, the applicant would have to go around to each and every agency that needed to sign off on some aspect of his plan. Now, I think one plan goes to all of them, and that's really the only difference. It's totally different from DRC, which was a more interactive and open thing, but this is just like it used to be.
Yeah.
You've got to
But-
get your septic permit, you got to get your,
Community Development Director.
You're looking at them.
We do. There was some discussion about formalizing that. That was part of the discussion at town council last night regarding the grading ordinance. The town attorney prefers that the position be formally created, and since we haven't formally created the community development position, until such time, it should be town manager, which happens to be one and the same.
So I know it was just last night. This is the only one I'm anticipating, maybe being ready for a vote next week.
Okay.
But I have a question.
Mhm.
This only does half of what the DRC does. Wouldn't we, does this need to be passed at the same time as the preliminary and final plat document?
No, I don't believe it does. I mean, I think it makes sense that they dovetail, that they, be approved at the same time, but they don't have to be, in my
Okay.
opinion. And then if I may add something, I want to get back to something that Commissioner Ballard said about the nature of these meetings. I want to make sure that the commission understands that the applicant would also be involved in these meetings as well, so
Okay.
that they can be asked questions about their design and so on and so forth. So, mhm.
Okay. So the reason I asked that question is, do you anticipate by this time next month to have that district, that definition or job description for community development director ready? So maybe we won't put this through because then we
Yeah.
have to change all those town managers back.
Yeah, fair question. And so before my time here, there was an ordinance prepared. So I think we could dust that off, if you will, in short order and get it to the town council.
So I'll just leave
I think we could do that.
community development director
I think we
there.
could do that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not going to work for the grading ordinance because
Yeah.
we're going to have a special meeting tomorrow to
But
do
I'm
that. So we'll
looking
come
at all
back.
These 6 ordinances.
Yeah, that's
last week.
completely fair.
You
Yeah,
know?
completely fair.
Can I ask, so you will be a participant in these JUC meetings,
Correct.
and your duty in that position will be to make sure that all zoning regulations that the plan is in compliance with zoning?
That's correct. But what I'll say in addition to that is that it also allows me to designate someone, and I will be designating them. The planner ran point on those meetings, but I was often, as in his case, his supervisor, consulted with any questions or concerns or need for direction. So, in other words, Riker and I will work closely together on this committee.
Do we have the language?
My worry is just that
Okay.
it's so hard to know what our ordinance says right now. And I think probably the planning commission has a better feel for it than most of the other people in the administration, even though a lot of the stuff we've passed on hasn't actually gotten onto the agenda over there. So I just wonder if there's any moment along the way to approving a permitted use that the planning commission could get eyes on it, not to vote or anything like that, but just to make sure that something hasn't been missed because of the behindness of the online
Yeah.
ordinance.
Well, a couple responses to that. One is the mayor and I have met with MuniCode, and they have stated that they had a glitch in their system. And I don't believe that's a technical term, but that's paraphrasing what they stated, and that they are correcting it. They have a team on it.
Were they
And we hope
unaware?
within 2 months, we will have all of our ordinances updated. In the meantime, our permit technician Shyla has provided a resource on the website
You
that,
showed it to us.
yeah, that lists all of the ordinances that have been passed within the, say, past 18 months.
That's wonderful.
Do-
And so that would be an interim. We're told by Muni Code that all the codes should be revised within
couple-
about a 2-month period.
And so MuniCode was unaware of the problem, or they've been working on it for 2 years?
Well, we have a new, again, some of this is before my time, but my understanding, we have a new representative who's taken a fresh look at it and was very apologetic and said that it was a glitch in their system.
Will they give us a
So-
refund?
That's a great question. That will come later. Once we get it fixed, then we'll start talking about that. But Commissioner Ballard, to get back to your question, I appreciate that the commissioners have a lot of institutional knowledge. And what I would suggest is that if staff misses anything, then it will get picked up when it comes to you, or if it comes to you.
My concern is only the ones that don't ever come.
Come to
Oh,
us.
I see.
That's why I said permitted
understand.
uses. They,
Okay.
they don't come to us at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why just a glance over a plan or maybe even a discussion or maybe a report of what
Sure.
applications have been received. And
Yeah, thank you for that. Because I was also used to a practice whereby the planner would provide an administrative report for administrative site plan reviews and other projects to the commission, so they were in the loop. They knew what was going on for, those land use and development projects that didn't come before them.
Okay,
And we're happy to do that.
that was
So
great.
my related question is, I know Shyla is doing a great job trying to create clear checklists for all these processes, processes. And can we have access to what those look like so we know, what kind of things are on there?
Sure.
And then under,
And we'll have those on the website. That's our intent.
but will they be, when I was going, a lot of times on towns, when I was doing research on the grading permit, and I was looking at their checklists and stuff, some towns had them separate from the application process. Others had them embedded in the application process, so I could not access. You have what?
Both.
Both.
Wonderful.
Good.
We'll be updating, I'm speaking loud enough, yes, I don't need them.
On the recording, you won't be loud enough.
Would help.
We have both and currently we'll be updating our building residential commercial checklist more thorough with building standards, inspection standards. So the list will be coming out right now. And that's going to be within like the next week or two, a complete update. And then it will be a PDF from the website next to the digital link. And then as the digital link, you can go in there too, and it'll be listed within that, but also on the back end, there is a checklist for each item needed for internal to go through items
So
to make sure everything's been submitted correctly.
could we arrange for a time, maybe during her regular working hours? And if all of us were there, it would have to be noticed
Yeah,
so that you
100%.
could go over that with us?
Yeah, I'd love it.
So, and then on C, compliance verification, is that just referring to engineering standards or safety standards, or is it also our land use code? Line 132 starts. I'm just super
Yeah, we-
vigilant of when do we check our land use code? And I think it should say, and land use code.
Yeah, I do not believe that this language anticipates a land use issue. This
Correct.
comes after
This
the
is
land use has already been determined to be appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be done prior to this?
Yes.
Oh. So, for instance, a conditional use permit would come to the planning commission before it goes to JUC?
For a CUP, we would at least do a preliminary before it would go to you.
Preliminary plat or what?
No.
Preliminary review.
Because in reading all these ordinances and how they weave together,
Mhm.
that to me is not clear.
Okay.
And the process for CUPs is not clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that some of these, well, I more specifically noticed it with the site plan thing. We need to know where in the
Sure.
process that fits with various different kinds of applications,
Yep,
like a
understood.
subdivision, a CUP, whatever. It's just, I couldn't quite figure out where they belong. And once, maybe that's already figured out, but if not, it'll have to be the chapters, like the chapter for conditional use permits will have to be amended to reference that, whatever. So you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
All right. I'm sorry, I have so many questions. Kent, do you have any questions? Yeah. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
On the next page, I highlighted the middle of 176. So to ensure that the pros and infrastructure to entirely feasible consistent with the town standards. Okay, so you kind of answered that by saying town code would have already been checked?
Mhm.
Okay. And then I next highlighted section is 188. It says, the town shall verify the JUC coordination is substantially complete before the item is placed on a public agenda for review or action. Who does that? What's the public agenda? Is that a town? Is
It
that,
depends on the situation. If it's a CUP, it's the planning commission. If it's a subdivision, I don't know where in the process it is, but
What,
we do preliminary, we cannot do final on a subdivision. It would still.
Right.
Right.
Am I correct?
yes.
what that means is that staff would not place this for approval on an agenda for planning commission or town council until we knew that all the necessary utilities were available and in place.
So planning commission and then town council?
It depends.
It depends, but typically
when would
that's
the
the,
land use go just to town council?
I don't know.
if it's a by right
Yeah,
situation.
but
Do you know of an example?
permitted uses don't normally go to
Well, yeah,
either board, right?
correct.
Um,
So that's pre-hearing coordination. I'm confused by that. Maybe I just don't understand and I
Okay.
can get
I
clarification.
can get
from
clarification.
Riker.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe we won't be voting. Okay, so I have a suggestion because of the suggestion of the town attorney. They have this thing like if they notify the utility, let's say Rocky Mountain Power, and Rocky Mountain Power doesn't get back to them in X number of days, forgot what the number of days was, then that's considered a thumbs up
from us,
from them.
but it's considered a thumbs up from us, right? Meaning they get approval.
Oh, yes, it's considered, yes, they signed off on it, right? It like not responding is like saying everything's good to go.
Exactly.
And so my suggestion is that the town have some way to prove that that was received by that utility. And you may already do that, but that was just a thought. I
Yeah.
had.
I mean, in practice, I wouldn't even be comfortable with that. I would want to know from them in writing whether that's an email or what have you.
Yes.
I would want verification.
I actually prefer that as well.
Yeah. So in practice, that's how,
But let's say somebody says, okay, it's been X number of days. You didn't hear a response, I'm good to go. You wouldn't be able to say, what would we do in a case like that?
we would contact, we have regular contacts with utilities. We would get an answer.
They've been pretty responsive, right?
They've been great.
Hopefully it's not, do we have a procedure on line 215?
Question.
Go ahead, Kent.
I had a question with Rocky Mountain Power on the substation.
Mhm.
My question is, for my own information, flow. So when Rocky Mountain Power, I know that the town was working with Rocky Mountain Power about where they might be able to put a substation, and that was coordinated over there on Colab Terrace Road next to the county's trash landfill pickup, which seemed really appropriate to me. Does the town get involved, your administration get involved with the utility when it wants to do something like that? When it wants to do something like that from the beginning? They come in, they say, we want to do this. I know that
Yeah.
they basically negotiated land with the
Conservancy.
Water Commission.
Yep.
But does the town get involved in what they're doing as far as meeting our town codes, or is that higher up above us?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, if I understand your question, Commissioner, we could have a utility come to us and say, hey, we want to put in this case, a substation, but we're not sure, where it might go. Do you have some sites to suggest? Now, that didn't occur here, but that can certainly occur. They had found that site on their own, if you will. They had purchased the property from the Water Conservancy. But per our code, it required a conditional use permit. And so they were required to go through that process, just like a private business would have to.
Okay. Are they required to, while they're doing construction? I'm sure the town was involved in this, but there were things that didn't get planned on, such as the road conditions that occurred from the removal of the fill that they had to take out. And so does the county take care of that? It's a county road. Does the county taking care of that? Does the city involved in that?
Yeah, so that's city right of way in that section of the road. The county right of way starts farther north,
Okay.
just a little north of, excuse me, the BMX track. So we're working with the power company and also their subcontractor on putting the plates to reduce the amount of wear and tear. And then we'll be talking to them about replacing and reconstructing the road as well.
That's in our new grading ordinance. The track out.
What was that?
There's track out language.
Yeah,
in
and
our
they've been very good. They have had a broom out there. Just like a private business, staff's going to work with them, maintain constant communication to make sure that they're being a good neighbor and doing the right thing.
So the town's involved in that kind of a project, a public utility project, and they have to coordinate with the town,
Right.
and the town is on top of those kinds of things.
Yep. Yeah.
I was concerned about as they were removing dirt, because I'm looking at that from my front porch.
Mhm.
And I'm
Sure.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to take off the whole bridge over there, and I'm just going to see, and they didn't.
Yeah, their grading plan was reviewed by the town engineer
Okay.
as part of the CUP process.
And they didn't take that ridge off. They left
Yeah.
the ridge, and I really appreciated that. Then we were having a wedding at our house a weekend and a half ago. and outside, and it was on a Friday. And yeah, it was on a Friday. And I called my guy at Rocky Mountain, who I know in administration,
Mhm.
and told him about the wedding and what was happening, and we were going to start dinner outdoor with the taco truck at 5 o'clock, because they were working hard. They were there
Yeah.
at 6 in the morning and until 6 at night working. And he said, "I'll take care of it." And they were just awesome.
Mhm.
They were done
Yeah,
at 4
good to
o'clock
hear.
that day,
Yeah,
and
it's good to hear.
quieted down, and the beepers were gone, and the
Yeah.
dust was gone.
Yeah.
So
You'll be glad when that project's over, I'm sure. All of us will.
they were really good to work with. And then he in
Good.
fact called me back and says, "I got it handled." So
Great. Good to hear. Thank
I
you.
appreciate you letting me know and understand that a big utility like that has to coordinate with the town
Yep.
administration as to what's going on, and the town is monitoring that and following through on it.
100%.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So my last question is on line 2, 1415. Just out of curiosity, what are our policies? It says the town, such records shall be kept in a manner determined by the town in accordance with its adopted records retention policy. What is our records retention policy?
So any local government's retention policy has to comply with state guidelines. We're creations of the state, and typically it's in my experience, the state, either Office of Management and Budget or the Treasurer's Office, who have a schedule of how long you have to keep certain documents, minutes.
So
Those type
that
of
will
things.
go in our new records room.
Yes.
It will be stored there.
The clerk is
Yes.
very well up to
Yes,
date on those.
yes.
so.
So I was just curious about that.
Mhm.
So I have one question for Riker that I probably will get answered prior to our next public hearing, public meeting. There are no changes here that would require a public hearing again.
Most
am I
of our
understanding?
questions were answered by,
They were clarified. There were more clarification and not about changes on this one.
Sure.
I'm going to propose that we vote on this in June.
yes.
And that's 2.
That's two.
Uh, the others, I really have to talk to Riker to clarify stuff. I don't know about anyone else.
Including
Oh,
new and unlisted business uses?
yes.
Okay.
The preliminary and final plat and the new and unlisted uses.
Preliminary, oh, you mean the site plan?
The
The
new
site
one,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. This is the site plan.
Oh,
This is, so there's not a use there. It's unlisted. What's the process? This is why we remove those other items. That's this one. I want to I have questions about that.
I see, okay.
And I'd like to get those questions answered before we have a full discussion. So I'm gonna hold off on these till
Oh, okay.
June work meeting, unless there's a strong desire to do otherwise. And that way Claudia can also be here. Thoughts?
I'm trying to think. If not having the new and unlisted uses go along with the prohibited uses.
He said
one,
they could
too?
go separately. I asked that question.
I heard that, but
Oh.
I'm saying I'm trying to figure out what complications that might
Correct.
create for us or the public.
So the other option is to not put this joint utility commission up for a vote and just, we won't discuss it anymore. But wait till we fully discuss this one and then move them out and have votes in July on all 3 of them.
Oh, I think we better just move forward with whatever we can. So, I mean, if it does make a complication, we can
Do you,
deal with it.
Mark, do you think it will be a complication to have one and not the other? Shall we run that one? Well,
Yeah, we could talk further about that with Riker.
Yeah, because we need these on Tuesday to Crystal because Monday's a holiday.
Right.
So I'll make a note to her if Riker approves. We'll have a vote on this,
Yep, I'm good with
Great.
that.
right?
Mhm.
Or we can put it just discussion and possible vote.
Yeah,
Sure. Mhm.
We can, and
Perfect.
then that will give Riker time and I will meet with him between then and that. And
that's,
that, at least we'll get this off the plate.
that's the solution, yes.
Do you like that idea? Okay, so we'll put it down for discussion and possible, because that's what I always put on my
Mhm.
agenda.
Sure.
We usually have somebody comes in, like Ellen Lee, I go, that's, it's
Yeah.
got a point there. We need to think about that. So that leaves um, the agricultural use one. And I don't even, and I know Riker, let's see if he says, the ordinance as drafted adds these uses as permitted uses with a company. He wants us to develop standards for those. And so that's the area that this one would need revision. We've already talked about the actual uses at our last work meeting.
But there should be limits.
And so, and it's a very easy, it's a very, it's the shortest ordinance ever. Permitted uses, tilling of soil, raising of crops, horticulture, gardening, raising of livestock.
I think we need to have X number of animals per acre
Okay,
limit.
so this will be on my topic to speak with Riker about. Okay, I fully I fully anticipate all of these. This will require another public hearing. I'm unsure about these two. They may or may not need another public hearing, but these three will definitely be voted on in July.
These three being
New and unlisted business uses.
good.
Preliminary and final site plans, and permitted agricultural uses. Is there another one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
the
no,
one
no.
we-
I don't know. And then the only one up in the air then would be our prohibited,
Which needs another hearing for sure.
which will, and we've got steps for that. And that's got to go to our town attorney. And we need to come up, and Riker maybe, or us, somebody, we have to determine who's going to create these definitions.
Ah,
Question, do we have a permitted number of animals allowed on an acre?
that,
No.
we do in rural residential and residential, but we don't have it for any other, because we didn't have agricultural uses in commercial.
It says, it does, we do, because I couldn't find it.
Really?
I was looking.
Oh
I
my
can be wrong.
goodness, did they take that out?
This is why I like
Oh,
multiple
It's
brains.
the most hilarious list. It was like 2 horses or 1 horse and 1 cow, or 1 cow, 2 chickens.
I
and a
don't
few
think it's
goat-
there
I don't-
anymore.
It was a very long,
This is per acre,
yeah.
and this is in what area of
Maybe
the code?
that was in
Rural
rural residential.
So
but
I'm going to pull up rural residential. I do not think it's there.
Search for goat and it's either there or not.
Okay.
They must have removed it, the previous
Goat.
size.
So my next question is, can an HOA, can an
Yes.
HOA
Yes.
uh,
Can they
have
what?
their own, can an HOA have their own
They
regulation?
they can't be less strict than the town,
So,
but they can be more strict.
Like where I live, it's 2 horses per acre,
in
desert garden.
Desert Gardens? Okay. Do you know what it is for Sierra Bella?
Their CCNRs are online, correct?
Their CCNRs have changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, so regarding, Shiloh was telling me correctly, regarding CCNRs, the town
No. Yeah, you
isn't
don't.
responsible and doesn't have authority to,
Yeah, that's up to the community.
But-
yeah, to manage those.
Where are the CCNRs listed on our website? They used to be listed.
is where I
What?
go.
Final plat?
Subdivisions is where, and then just county record is where I go.
Can't hear.
We used to have it
Typically-
in our code
Oh, in the code?
What?
Is that right?
because I've read 'em.
Typically, it's part of the final plat, and the county typically has record of them as well.
You know, our subdivision code is based on all the changes to the state code, and it was a model, and they probably did not want to mention CCNRs, if that's,
Could be.
Sierra Bella or Sarah Bella?
Yara, I think. SIERRA.
Gotcha.
No, they're not on our new website. So those are things we want to look at. And we may decide in that discussion that we want to add some other language. And I know you have a copy of what was
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
If you could,
It's-
can I charge you
it's
with
fun.
finding that?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Um,
so this one's going to need some more work.
Can I suggest
Mhm.
that we could pass it and then the definitions could go in a different ordinance because it's amending chapter 2 and not any other chapter.
So we don't know if it's going to be a standalone.
But either way, we still want to put definitions in the definitions section in chapter 2, right?
Correct, but it's already.
They're not
pen-
technical ones like,
Yeah, but it's a pending ordinance, so why do two ordinances when we can just fix one?
oh, okay.
What do you think?
And just add it to that.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
why are you laughing at me? Oh, it's giving me. Don't be go putting filters on me, okay? So this is hold Riker discussion. Leading back in July. Bring back June, discuss. July vote. Okay. And this one. I have to write on the document so I remember what I have to do. And then for public hearing, we're going to have two things. What are they? Oh, what are they? I told you what they were earlier today, the two items for public hearing.
Oh,
One was the shuttle ordinance. What was the second one? The shuttle, removing shuttle stop. And the other, it's written down at home. Do you remember me talking about?
I don't remember.
Oh, the JUC, the JUC.
We haven't already had a hearing on that?
Well, we were going to vote on it. So I'm talking, oh, public hearing.
Yeah, that's just,
No, I think that's the only,
the only new thing. Oh, the commercial zone changes. But we don't have that
that's not
yet.
going to be ready. Oh, I know what it is. The accessory.
Oh, accessory
The
buildings.
buildings.
Yes.
Okay, so we will have a public hearing on an ordinance on accessory buildings because we don't have any limits at all. And so we looked at our previous code and we're just bringing it back simple, you know, so there's some guidelines. And Riker thought he could have that ready on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
he's working on that.
Anything separate from your main dwelling, your living dwelling?
But customarily accessory to it, like a garage, a shed,
shops.
A guest house,
Well,
shop,
A guest house would be an accessory dwelling.
right, that would be an ADU.
Yeah,
But-
that-
But he's
but
also
still-
going to put language, just so we have it in our code, you know, what we currently, our current practices, because apparently it's not in our code, just to formalize it. Basically, we follow the state guidelines on that, if I understand correct. So just to
State
put that
guidelines
in there
on
as
what?
well, on
On-
accessory dwellings.
We used to have that already.
And those two things will be for public hearing. I know we don't like to, well, and I will not be present at this public hearing. I should be virtual, but I won't be physically present. So, Ms. Ballard here will be the chair at that time. So how do you feel on items that are so simple? Unless we get a lot of feedback from the public. To kind of do with this final hearing for the grading ordinance, there were some items brought up and I allowed some discussion and additional feedback from the public so we could vote on that. I would feel very comfortable voting on the shuttle stop. That's a simple, clear issue. We
Me too.
could, and all it is removing shuttle stops. We can talk about it now. Shuttle stops as a use in
Highway
also
resort.
high resort
commercial
and
zones.
commercial, because it is unnecessary, and that any shuttle stop that we would create would be in UDOT right away, and our ordinance, we don't need it, the ordinance
And it-
for that,
Yeah,
correct?
if I may add to that, Madam Chair, it would be handled through a formal agreement between the town and the transportation service provider. So we don't feel there's a need to have it listed as a use.
And that would be a municipal
Correct.
transportation provider.
So the commercial or highway resort landowner would have nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Correct.
Currently, there's commercial businesses.
They're
Has
grandfathered
what they
in.
call a shuttle stop.
The park and ride,
Yeah, is that what they're
Yes.
calling it?
and that's been established under previous language, so that would remain.
Okay.
They also have,
And that's-
their CUPs also allow for shuttle stops, so that this would not change that, but going forward, we wouldn't have private shuttle stops,
So,
new ones, if you will.
and are there others besides White Bison, like maybe KOA or that, any others that have a park and ride?
Does the park
Not
and
that
ride
I'm aware
stop
of.
at the KOA stop still? They built that structure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Suntran stop there. I'm trying to recall if if the park and ride is using that stop.
Hmm.
I'm not sure they are.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we find out?
Yeah, sure. Mhm.
And that's all that is. So I would feel, unless we got some unusual comment from the public, I would feel very comfortable voting on that because this is about all we would have discussed it.
Yep. I'm good with that.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to discuss it. I want to talk about it. I don't know how they affect communities. I don't know how a park and ride that goes into a resort and
That's a quasi municipal thing. It's not
so that's something that
it's an agreement between the town, Suntran and the county.
The county helped fund the creation of the
Parking.
park and ride, the parking lot. It was a collaborative effort. It was a public-private partnership.
And
to
White
create
Bison
that.
is doing it under the auspices of
Their CUP allows for shuttle stops.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the shuttle stop is currently, it's where it is on their plan.
That's correct.
So the use has not changed.
Right.
They had a parking lot there on their original plan and a shuttle stop there.
So they don't have a commercial park and ride where they charge?
They do
for-
not, they do not charge.
And is the town going, are we going to allow that to, as a
Well-
business down the road? Are we going to have businesses or a development that just say, let's say it's specific, that they're going to be a parking lot for the park. People can park and this lot that's prepared and secured and paved and pay to park there.
Well, I think you described the Zion Corridor Park and Ride, that collaborative effort. But if you're questioning whether private businesses like Zion's Vacation Rentals or the Marriott have their own private shuttles, yes, they may do that
For their customers.
for their customers. Yes.
If I have an acre of land, or if I have 5 acres of land along the highway, can I apply to turn it into a private, public parking lot to charge for people to park there and walk over to the shuttle stop?
I would say no. We do have a pending parking ordinance that we will likely take forward with this shuttle stop ordinance, removing the use. And that would cover that situation.
Okay, so.
Is that the ordinance the planning commission sent forward?
Correct.
So specifically, we are addressing, the town is addressing the issue of what do we want to do? What does the town want to do with regards to
Correct.
people parking or people wanting to set up a parking business for access to shuttles or private or whatever to get to the park?
Correct.
So
Between the
We're addressing
parking
that.
lot ordinance and the pending parking lot ordinance and this removal of shuttle stops as a use would do what you're describing.
And the only thing remotely to that would be, I know like Zion River Resort takes their customers back and forth to the park. I don't know of any other ones that
Yeah.
do that.
Right. And so,
So that is,
yeah,
because on one of the most busy days, there was no access. So I appreciate that they did that. And thanks for that clarification. They are charging, but they're just charging the typical.
the same rate that the public transportation provider is charging.
Well, thank you. I am pleased to hear that you are looking at and addressing an issue that will increase in scope and affect the town. And I'm glad the town's looking at that. and how they want to do it.
So do we add commercial parking lots to our list of prohibited uses on this list of prohibited uses?
We did or can?
It's been a while since I've read the parking lot ordinance, but I think that
I think we
prohibits
should.
that use. I think that prohibits the use.
How to prohibit it?
As to add it, but we have this list of prohibited uses in commercial and higher resort.
Yeah.
Should that be added?
Perhaps I'd have to
Well, that's.
reread the
another- I'm going
parking
to add that, I'm
lot ordinance.
going to add that down
Yeah, fair
here.
question.
And get Rikers and make a note of that one. It's a maybe.
You know, there's, I don't know, but I've heard that there's activity on the north end of town along the highway to put in a parking lot.
Yeah,
So
that too.
that's why I was asking that question, was that I had heard that there might be.
And we haven't received an application that it may be outside of the
The
municipal
town
boundaries.
limits
Yeah.
Might
and
be,
county land.
it might be, and I appreciate that.
All right.
I have an item for the next regular agenda. If
All
we can
right.
agree.
Okay. Let me find a blank piece of paper. Oh, I know. Where's my agenda? How I usually do it. I lost my agenda in this pile of paper. This is why I like my binder. Here it is.
Well, I can't get what I wrote about the thing I'm about to mention because
Okay.
this computer won't
So
open it.
I know Mark just wanted me to be clear about things that we should mention in our work meeting, items that were coming up for a public hearing on our next meeting. And so those would be we're going to just do the JUC. That was it.
No, shuttle stop.
We're going to have, and maybe shuttle stop we'll vote on, okay? And then the other one coming up will be the size restriction. I think we'll get enough feedback there that we're going to have to talk about that of accessory.
Oh, the accessory buildings, yeah.
Yeah, that one, I'm not going to, I don't feel comfortable putting that one up for a vote because I think we'll get feedback that we'll need to consider. So
Not
that,
going to put it up for hearing?
I am putting it
Oh,
up
good.
for
Okay.
hearing.
Thank you.
And I'm putting up for hearing the shuttle stop, but we may vote and have a little further discussion on the shuttle stop since we discussed it some here,
Yeah.
okay? Discuss and possible vote. Okay,
So
go ahead.
I would just like to have an item on the next regular agenda to reconsider our vote on the open space amendment.
As part of discussion, or does this require a public hearing? Discussion?
No, reconsider would require a vote.
So that would be part of the regular meeting?
Mm.
So it would be under discussion and vote, possible vote?
Discussion, possible vote is fine, yeah.
And Kent may need some background information on that. He was there last night, and I'll get you the link to the video and give you the timestamp. And then I know Lee's watched it, but I think we should all watch it. Discuss open space amendment. Okay,
Okay.
and so I'll have to get that. And this is where, is that one posted online, the final version? The last, can I pull that off of there? Because one of our, I don't want to say concern / frustration is that we never see the final approved version. So that's why I like, even if we update the code, I'd like a way, I don't know if it could be dropped into a SharePoint folder, final versions of ordinances, so that we can read the final thing, because in the past, when we've done that, we found errors.
Well, we've also noticed that the town council changes things. quite
Yeah, and
often,
we
so-
don't, and I don't know what they are.
So the ordinances that are posted online, it shows the last one that I have printed, and I'm asking for the same thing. So
Signed,
town-
executed.
signed,
copies.
executed copies of the original, and the ones that are available, I've posted on our website. However, there are a lot that I'm still waiting for. So, but more than likely I'll have them by the end of this next week. And I can show you where to find them, the government ordinances.
I think Riker
Website.
showed us Riker and Mark showed us where to
But
find it.
it's
We
not-
can
it's not
keep
current,
the
no.
other commissioners.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because I don't have that final copy, Mark, but it was the last one we sent, right?
For the open space?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if I go
It didn't
back
change.
to what we had in our public meeting,
Yeah.
we'll put that, okay, so I can
Correct.
access that one, because I send everything to Crystal. So for public hearing, I have accessory
Accessory
buildings slash dwellings. I don't know the name of it yet. The shuttle
Right.
stop, that's going to be a problem. But Riker will send those to me, and then it doesn't take me long to make my list to send to Crystal. And then discussion and possible vote on the JUC. And we'll get confirmation, direction from Riker on whether we should wait on that one and send it up with the second half of that process. The shuttle, removal of the shuttle stop, which we had discussion today, so we can vote on that item. And then discussion and possible changes to the open space amendment,
No, reconsider,
discuss.
vote on the most recent, there's a title. I don't know what it is.
So do I need any guidance on how to introduce that? Since this is the first time we've done this?
I don't think so.
No, just do it. All right. Okay, did you get that, Mark?
Got it.
Okay. And with that, I'll take a motion to close our work meeting.
I don't think you need one.
We don't? Oh, okay. Our work meeting is ended then. Thank you. Thank you for stepping in.